Hey guys, what's going on? Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about something that totally blew my mind when I was just becoming more religious, and I think you'll find it so interesting if you're not familiar with how Orthodox Jewish people date. So, yes, you can meet someone organically, of course. However, I have found, and I was brand new to discovering, right? This was all new to me, the world of shidduchim, right? So let's dive in. Maybe some of you have seen some other videos on my channel, and I want to go into more depth about that just in case you're new here and you're a little confused what I'm referring to. So it's like this. When you start to date and you realize like you're ready to get married, or your parents encourage you, you're ready to get married, like put yourself out there, start dating. Okay, what do? So you make a resume, and that resume has maybe not a picture of you. Some circles don't have a picture of them. That's very, very common. And some do. That's also fine. Your name, maybe your birthday, definitely your age, definitely your occupation, your parents' names, shockingly. Sometimes definitely where you grew up, your education, both, where you went to high school, where you went to college, where you studied in yeshiva, or seminary, where you, maybe what kind of Judaism you adhere to in terms of which path you went. There's the umbrella term of the religion, but then there's also different flavors of how you choose to express that religion. You could be Chabad, you could be modern Orthodox, you could be Yeshivish. There's a lot of variety, and that's amazing. And so you can put that on your resume as well. And then a lot of people will have a blurb about them. Some not, but some have a blurb about them where it says maybe your goals, your interests, what you hope for your future, that you can be able to share a bit about what's important to you, your values, as well as what you're looking for. It's really common to have like a section about what you're looking for, describing the type of person, man or woman, that you envision yourself building a Jewish home with. So maybe you say qualities like someone who's kind, serious about learning, growth-oriented. Maybe you say some personality traits like outgoing, or maybe not, whatever you want to put on there. Someone who, you could get specific, prays 3 times a day with a minyan, or, learns full-time, is a full-time Torah learner. You could say that. So it's very individualized, but it really serves a purpose of vetting who you receive as suggestions of people to go out with in dating. Its function is to vet that you should not just, be blindly floating along in the world trying to find your match to build a home with, but really to have more specifics and to be able to vet people. And it's really actually useful, I think, in that way, because I think it can be so exhausting in shidduchim, even with resumes, that I can't imagine if we didn't have them and then we just had to figure out so much stuff on the date that it would just be more floating around, confusion, chaos, cluelessness. I think the more work, my personal thoughts is, the more work we do up front, the less we have to do in terms of like investigating the person's background. Do we have the same values? Do we want the same things? When you meet a person, you can just go off of, do you get along? Do you have chemistry? And a lot of the dirty work, or even just the regular, work that you discuss on a first date, is already out of the picture. You've already vetted that this person is compatible with you from a value standpoint. They want the same things as you. They grew up in a similar background as you, or whatever the case may be, that you have a good chance of this person being able to be a match for you on those concrete levels. And all you have to do left is see, do I have chemistry with this person? Do we get along? Can we talk? Is there character? That's all stuff you can see in dating, but the resumes serve a purpose. But I remember when I first heard about resumes, I was like, oh, how can dating be deduced to something as superficial as a resume? That's so inorganic. I was like literally the last person. I was against them, vehemently against them. I thought like, this is so inorganic. This is horrible. Like, I want to meet someone organically and because like naturally and just because sparks flew and it's, like how it is in the movies. But what I love about Judaism is that they don't really have a lot of about Jewish dating is that the dating is so not like how it is in the movies. It's like, yes, there's a strong belief that you do need to be attracted to this person and there does need to be, a level of physical compatibility, but overall, it's much more logical. It's much more guided by your mind than it is by infatuation. There's a level of infatuation, of course, always, or else I think I've heard that nobody would get married, but it's not like a Hollywood movie where, oh, you went on a date and they brought you flowers and they told you how pretty you are and they gave you chocolate. Like it's just, and they wooed you and like, now you're, you kissed at the end of the date. So now you have feelings for them. It's like not like that at all. It's based off of something more level-headed and grounded. And I think creates a solid, stable foundation to build a home, a family off of. And I appreciate the guidance that we get in Jewish dating as well, because once you've made your resume, so you can then go on to share your resume with matchmakers, which I thought sounded insane when I first became religious. I was like, matchmakers? Heck no. Like, you can never see me with a matchmaker. I was like, oh my God, has it come to that point? I thought matchmakers were for people who like really needed so much help to talk to people and put themselves out there that they needed a matchmaker. It was a last resort emergency situation. And that's not true at all. Not at all. In Orthodox Judaism, so matchmakers or shadchanim, as they're called, are people who facilitate matches, who send you suggestions of people to go out with and send people suggestions for you to go out with. They share your resume. They think of ideas for you, people that you can go out with that could be a potential match for you, a potential spouse. And what I love about them is that they do a lot of the in-between work when you're coordinating the dates. They provide a sounding board for you to bounce thoughts off of after the date. And usually these women or men, they know what they're talking about for the most part. Obviously, some of them do just want to see you get married, but I found in my experience that they're people who are so wise and they know what they're talking about. And for a lot of times you do have to be strong in your own like will to say like, oh, I know this person's not for me. Like, please don't push me to go out with them again. I know it's not for me. But sometimes it is good to have someone push you to go out again. We think we know everything. And a lot of times the sounding board of a matchmaker, of a shadchan, can push you to take risks and to make smarter choices because you have like a mentor, almost kind of like a dating mentor. And it's best if you can facilitate a real relationship with them, that they actually know you a little bit as a person, as opposed to just on a superficial level. Like they saw your resume, so they thought of Ben from Pennsylvania for you. Like that's not really, you want to develop like a little more of a connection with the people who are sending you matches, that they can start to know your personality and be, more in tune with you and your likes and dislikes. And speak to you as a person also, because another thing that's so interesting that I couldn't believe when I first got introduced to this Orthodox dating world is that people investigate. I don't know if investigate's the right word, but they call people to ask about you before the date. It's like calling a reference, literally. You'll have on your resume references where you list a mentor, a rabbi, family members, friends, neighbors, anyone, colleagues, usually people in the Jewish world who are like in positions of authority though, like a mentor or a rabbi or a rebbitzin, and they will have their number and their name, and you can call them and you can ask them questions about the person. From my personal experience, the reference calls have, and this is just my personal experience, for me, they've not been that helpful, because I find like if you call someone who's intentionally listed on someone's resume and you ask them like, how is Ben's character? Like, I found that they're not going to say bad things about the person, or else they wouldn't be a reference. Like, kind of the same thing with jobs. But a lot of people in other Jewish circles who do more thorough investigation and find out much more from the references, people do real digging. I mean, they're calling their teacher, they're calling their neighbors, they're calling people who are not on the resume. I think that probably works better. I've never done that, but I think calling people who are not on the resume, who actually just happen to know them, but they're not a person who's listed as a reference, could be good for getting like a full picture of someone. But I know a lot of people in more Hasidic circles, for example, or even more yeshiva circles, will have more thorough of digging before a first date. And I usually think that I'll be able to tell more on the first date than I would from the reference calls. So I like used to make them. Now I don't as much. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else is very interesting. Oh, so back to the matchmaker, right? So the matchmaker, the shadchan, will usually coordinate the first meeting. And so you don't have to discuss you don't have to give your number to the person that you're going to date if you don't want to. And you can determine how long you want the matchmaker to be the go-between between you and the other person. It's up to you. I've recently started using a matchmaker for a longer period of time because I really like that barrier. Like, I really like to have my privacy and not have a guy that I'm dating necessarily see my WhatsApp statuses and like see everything that I'm doing on my phone. Like, it's just not necessary for me, especially if I'm not sure if I even want to see them again. Like, you don't need to have my entire contact on your phone, which I love. Can we just take a second to appreciate how beautiful that is? Like, there is a woman, a married middle-aged woman, who will literally call the person that you're dating and break up with them for you. It sounds kind of bad when I say it like this, but that's really what they do. Or they will tell you if you want to go again, or they'll tell you what the other person thinks of you. Like, this is a person who after each date calls both parties on the date, the guy and the girl, and will ask the guy what he thought of the girl what he thought of the guy, and you will have so much information, so much clarity that just doesn't exist in secular dating from my experience. Like, that level of clarity and transparency and purpose, it's seriously designed for marriage, and things move quick. If you're not getting married to that person, then that's it. It's not like, things move quick. And another huge component of Orthodox dating is that there's no touching at all. And so you can't rely on the chemistry and good feelings that you have towards a person just because of the oxytocin that's released in your brain from touching someone, right? That's not even a factor. So it becomes much more obvious if the person's for you or not and what their flaws are. And that's all I have for you today. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Leave them in the comments below, and I will see you in my next video. Let me know what else you want me to discuss, and I'm happy to do that. Take care.